ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरोर्भ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमोस्तुते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्रे येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपरिजाताय स्तोत्रवैत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। So once again, welcome you all. We are studying Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Today we'll start a new chapter, chapter 3. So in chapter 2, let's quickly summarize what we studied there. In chapter 2, Lord Krishna started resolving the doubts of Arjuna, which he had towards engaging in this battle of Kurukshetra. So giving the knowledge of the spirit soul and how is it different from the material body, what is our true identity, the process of birth and death. So Krishna helped Arjuna to come out of material compassion. And then to instill a sense of duty in Arjuna, Krishna talked about swadharma, one's occupational duties, based on, what kind of body and mind one has acquired, as given by the three modes of material nature. And then Lord Krishna taught to Arjuna the concept of Nishkama Karma Yoga, because Arjuna was very concerned that if he engages in this battle and kills so many people, he will be um, full of sin. And then Krishna explained to Arjuna that how, when you do your duties in a dutiful, detached manner, sin doesn't touch you. Of course, you have to do your duties in knowledge that you are not this body, and you have to perform your duties for your purification's sake. So that is the concept of Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then the benefits of Nishkam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga were given to Arjuna. And then Arjuna inquired from Krishna, what are the characteristics of such a person whom you are talking about? Sthita pragyasa ka bhasha samadhi sasya keshava sthitati kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. In 2.54, Arjuna asked this question. So then 2.55 to 2.70, Krishna answered these four questions of Arjuna. And then at the end, he concluded that anyone who works in this consciousness, as what Krishna has explained, will certainly enter into Krishna's abode or will go to the spiritual world after quitting his body. So, chapter 2, as we have mentioned before, is a summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, it kind of covers all the subjects of Gita, touches them, and introduces us to them, right? So, this is where actually Bhagavad Gita's message ends. Krishna has already told Arjuna he should fight, what spirit he should be fighting in, that is also explained. Goal of life is also explained. But then Arjuna still has doubts. And therefore, Gita continues. The discussion continues. Right. So, to summarize, this is what we studied in chapter 2. Arjuna gave reasons to not fight, and Krishna gave reasons to Arjuna to fight. Hmm? The soul does not die, the body has to end. Therefore, you should fight. It is your swadharma, two types of soul of body. Whether war is won or lost, you will be happy in both case. And if you fight with the sense of duty, then there will be no sin. Fine. Um, So in chapter 3, these are the four sections. First, Arjuna's confusion is there in verse 1 and 2. Renounce or work. And then Krishna talks about Nishkam Karma Yoga a bit more here. And he says that go for this because renunciation is difficult. But Arjuna says, I can still renounce. I have an experience of it. And Arjuna was quite sense controlled. He had lived in the forest all by himself, isn't it? So he's quite sense controlled. So then Krishna says, no, no, even if you're qualified to renounce, you should still set a good example for others to follow. So do something which will also benefit others, the mass. That's what he tells. And then Arjuna has a question. What is that? On this path of acting in the sense of detachment, there is a big enemy of ours, and that enemy is lust. So how to deal with that? So Krishna is saying you have to conquer that enemy. Fine. So this chapter talks about these subject matters. All right. First section, renunciation in work or work in devotion. Hmm? Verse number 1. You all can chant with me. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani ghore mang niyojayasi keshava. So, oh Janardana, oh Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? Krishna is being addressed by Arjuna by the name Janardana. Janardana means one who protects the people. Jana means people. Janardana means one who protects them. So Krishna is being referred to as Janardana by Arjuna. Arjuna is saying, come on, you are Janardana. You should be asking me to save people's lives, but you are asking me to kill them. Why? You know, your name is Janardana, so why are you asking me to kill them? So then Krishna may say, of course, but do you think I'm asking you to do something wrong? Then Arjuna says, of course not. How can you ask me to do something wrong? You are You are the supreme, and then of course you are my guru now. So he's then addressing Krishna by the name Keshava. Just like you kill the demon Keshi, you kill this demon like doubt which has arisen in my mind. You know, that why are you encouraging me to fight when I think fighting is not good for anyone? So, like that, he's addressing Krishna with these two names. If you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work, let's go to Sanskrit. It will become more easy to understand. Intelligence is better than fruitive work means what? Arjuna is saying, if you think, as Krishna has already explained before, jnana is more better than karma because karma binds you and jnana liberates you. Why are you asking me to engage in karma? Why are you asking me to fight? No, isn't it? Like to give you a very simple example, um, let's say a student goes to a spiritual master, a disciple goes to a spiritual master and asks a question. Guru Maharaj, uh, what is better, to get married or to lifelong just stay brahmachari and then later on take sannyas? You know, this question is asked to the spiritual master. And then the spiritual master for 1 hour talks about the benefits of not getting married, right? And after that discussion is all over, then the spiritual master tells the disciple, but you should get married. So then definitely the disciple will say, if you wanted me to get married, then you should have told me benefits of getting married, you know. Why first you told me benefits of not getting married and then you are telling me you should get married? Correct. You should have told me benefits of getting married. You should have encouraged me like that. So similarly, Arjuna is saying, you are talking to me so much about jnana, the benefits of jnana, benefits of buddhi yoga, this and that. And then you are asking me to fight. What is this? No. You emphasize the importance of something and then you ask me to do something else. Hmm. Can't understand, right? So this is Arjuna's query here. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, um, Sri Krishna has very elaborately described the constitution of the soul in the previous chapter with a view to delivering his intimate friend Arjuna from the ocean of material grief. And the path of realization has been recommended, Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia. This is very important. Sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia. Inertia means lazy, irresponsible life. Hmm? Fine. And one with such a misunderstanding often withdraws to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. I was thinking about this statement. Sometimes people they withdraw themselves to a seclusion by physically going far away from everyone and getting disconnected from the society. And sometimes one may also externally may not do such thing like going away from everyone, but one may internally withdraw oneself from everything, right? Which means I have nothing to, and I have nothing to do with people, with society, with people around me, with things around me, with this world. I don't want to do anything. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that sometimes people think that Krishna consciousness means withdrawing yourself to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna. Hmm? But without being trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it's not advisable to chant the holy name of Krishna in a secluded place. That's okay. Is going to a secluded place completely banned? No. But first, receive the training, where one may acquire only cheap adoration from the innocent public. You know, uh, Arjuna also thought of Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga or intelligent spiritual advancement of knowledge as something like retirement from active life and the practice of penance and austerity at a secluded place. In other words, he wanted to skillfully avoid the fighting by using Krishna consciousness and excuse. But as a sincere student, he placed the matter before his master and questioned Krishna as to his best course of action. In answer, Lord Krishna elaborately explained Karma Yoga, work in Krishna consciousness, in the third chapter. So the nature of Gyan, as I've explained before, Atma Gyan, is that it produces a sense of renunciation by default, naturally, right? Um, if you hear a lecture, let's say of Srila Prabhupada, where he's again and again banging on the same point, you are not this body. You fools, you rascals, you're not this body. He's again and again telling the same thing. So doesn't it make us really think that yes, yes, I think I'm not this body. Yes, it does. You know, it does. Right. And if you are having some plans of some sense gratification in your mind, just by hearing that lecture, that plan gets, you know, exploded in your own mind, isn't it? It's finished. Mm. To some extent. So the nature of this knowledge is that it brings up a kind of renunciation, detachment. It does. Naturally, it does. So when renunciation steps in, a person thinks, why should I work at all? Why should I do my duties? Why should I earn money? Why should I why should I mix with people? Why should I this? Why should I that? Hmm. Right? A person does that. Generally, it is seen. So Krishna is telling here Arjuna that, as Prabhupada is explaining, this knowledge should not become an excuse to, you know, get rid of your duties. That should not, this knowledge should not become an excuse to get rid of your duties, right? And why that is being explained? Uh, because one is not qualified to give up duties. As we'll study later, the qualification to give up one's duties comes when one is very evolved in consciousness. So before that, one cannot do that. If one does it, then it becomes harmful in one sense to one's spiritual development, isn't it? Hmm. So therefore, this excuse may come in someone's mind, and one should avoid such things. So Arjuna very sincerely asks Krishna the question, what should be done in this situation? Right? Text 2. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. Vyamishreneva vakyena. Why are you speaking in a confusing manner, Krishna? Can't you speak properly, straightforwardly? What should I do? Why tell me two different things, you know? Buddhim mohayasiva me. You are talking in a way that my buddhi, my intelligence is becoming more bewildered. You know, like you go to someone for asking for an advice or a solution, and that person talks to you in such a way that you become more confused. So then Krishna Arjuna is telling, why don't you talk straightly to me that what should I do? Why are you confusing me? Tad ekam. Ekam means one. Vada nischitya. You first decide properly, and then you tell me one thing. Yena shreyo ham apnuyan. What is best for me? Just tell me that. You know. So this word shreya has come in 2.7. It is coming here in 3.2, and it will also come in 5.1. Same question asked in three different chapters by Arjuna. It's natural, you know, sometimes when you're too confused and you go to a person to ask for advice, and that person very straightforwardly, as a matter of fact, tells you what you should be doing, you still ask, are you sure? Let me tell my problem again. And that person says, no, no, I've heard your problem. I have listened to you completely. I have diagnosed the whole case and I am telling you this is the solution. No, no, perhaps you didn't hear the details properly. Let me tell my problem again. You know? So you want to again ask the same thing to that person. How many times, we come across a situation that someone has told us what we should do, but still, are you sure? Don't you think that option is much better? Can you please give it a thought again? So you want to reconfirm, isn't it? Reconfirm. Correct? Hmm? So it happens. Sometimes you'll see this happening with your mother or your sister. She calls you up and then she tells the whole story, 10 minutes, and then you give a one line answer to that problem. And then they start again the same story. You know, and then you tell, no, you should do this. So then again the same story starts. So the thing is, the mind doesn't accept very easily the answer given to us or the solution given to us. So we want to check again and again and again. Isn't it? It's natural. Uh, So Arjuna is asking Krishna, and Krishna is not getting angry with Arjuna. That, okay, why are you asking me? I told you already. Hmm. Krishna is again answering the question of Arjuna, in a different way. In a different way, but answering the same question. So tad ekam vada nishchitya. But also we learn one more thing from here. What is that? Sometimes when you approach a person more knowledgeable than you, more experienced than you, and who can see things more than you may ask a question and expect an answer, and they may not give that answer to you. You know why? Because they want you to see the bigger picture which you are not seeing, isn't it? So that's why when we when we go to a sadhu and we put a query, we should know that that query may be answered in a way we don't expect, because they will not just see the superficial problem, they'll see the problem behind the problem, which we may not see, you know and therefore their answer may be more detailed, more philosophical, more conceptual. Generally our questions are, how I have this problem, can you give me a solution? Then I have another problem, can you give me a solution? But then they are not interested in solving a petty problems which will come and go anyway in this material world, you know but they are more interested in solving the real problem which is giving birth to so many other problems, isn't it? Why is it necessary for Lord Krishna to give so much of detailed knowledge to Arjuna? He could have just told, no, Arjuna, fight, finish, done. Because that was only a immediate solution to his problem, but not the real solution. And that real solution was with the knowledge that Krishna gave to Arjuna, isn't it? Correct. Hmm. So you'll notice this many times, like even in Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll notice whenever you study, sometimes a question is asked looking for an immediate solution, but the reply given by the sage, by the guru, by the Supreme Lord is a detailed answer. You know why? Because they are trying to help us solve the problem behind the problem, not just the problem.
If if Guru Maharaj on our question keeps quiet, then what does it mean?
That you have to ask the Guru Maharaj only.
Mm.
Because I can't say, right, why someone is keeping quiet. That you have to
Prabhu,
ask
it
him
is
only. Hmm.
you're saying is a root cause. Like, I mean, that is what needs to be addressed, not
Yeah,
the.
root cause always. You see, mostly when you come across a genuine sadhu or guru, They may help us solve our petty material problems in life, but they will always also cater to the root cause. Mm, right?
Uh, Prabhu,
Mm,
I mean, this is coming
yes.
from, I think, ignorance in some ways. But what if the root, let's say, solution is not palatable?
Ah,
What
correct.
should, how do we, overcome that? And, how do we, let's say a root solution is given.
Mm.
How can we work towards a root solution even if we're not there yet? You know, uh, yes, this is my question, Prabhu.
But the thing is that if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we are working towards the root solution day by day, no? Every day we are working towards it. That's why we are practicing Krishna consciousness, isn't it?
Yes.
So we are working for it. Day by day, we are working for it.
Mhm.
And while
It's
solving that main problem, many other problems come up, which are
yes.
temporary problems. So we need to also cater to those problems.
Mhm. Yes. But sometimes, you hear, a solution or let's say an ideal. And you feel like, oh, this is not for me.
Yeah,
I'm not there
correct,
yet, in that
correct,
sense.
correct. So that's okay. When ideals are spoken, they are spoken just for the sake of keeping the standards of perfection same, always constant. Because you see Prabhupada also, whenever he sat on the Vyasasana, he spoke about the ideals. When he wrote the books, he spoke about the ideals. But when he addressed devotees' issues personally by letters or conversations, then he did not really give them, you know, or pressurize them that you should follow the ideal right now. Okay. So when you are hearing a lecture or reading a book, it's the ideals only which will be always emphasized. But when you have a personal discussion, one-to-one discussion, which is like sharing your personal problem, then at that time, if the preacher or the teacher or the guru is mature, then that person will know, okay, what your level is and how to make you move to the next level.
Yes, Prabhu.
You know,
Thank you.
therefore, I always uh, feel this that whenever you are asking a question to a person uh, which has to do with your personal life, you know, you should not ask that question in a setup where that person is dealing with the topic in a general manner for a wider audience. Why? Because if that person, in order to satisfy you, reduces the standard or bar, then that becomes the bar for everyone. You're understanding, you know,
Yes.
and that person cannot do. So then what will that person do? He will always speak of the ideal. And then you, as a inquirer, you feel emotionally little disturbed because you wanted a more sympathetic and, answer, or an answer full of more empathy than a very straightforward, principle centered, ideal answer. So, therefore, when we have such personal issues, rather than asking in a forum where the person is addressing to a wider audience, you should ask in a forum which is more intimate. Mhm. You're understanding? So many times devotees, because when they ask questions in a forum which is more general, and then they don't get the answer which they should actually get.
Mhm. Sure.
But the thing is that how can the speaker give such an answer?
Mhm.
The speaker cannot.
Mhm.
You understanding?
I understand your point. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome. Adarsh. Okay. Mm, let's read the purport. So, translation. My intelligence um, is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. Purport. Let's read the purport. Someone please read the purport. Yes,
Shall I
Allah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sangeeta. In the previous chapter, as a prelude to the Bhagavad-Gita, many different paths were explained, such as Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, control of the senses by intelligence, work without future desire, and the position of the neophyte. This was all presented unsystematically. A more organized outline of the path would be necessary for action and understanding. Arjuna therefore wanted to clear up these apparently confusing matters so that any common man could accept them without misinterpretation. Although Krishna had no intention of confusing Arjuna by any jugglery of words, Arjuna could not follow the process of Krishna consciousness, either by inertia or by active service. In other words, by his questions, he is clearing the path of Krishna consciousness for all students who seriously want to understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, so Arjuna is kind of helping all of us by asking questions which will solve the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. Next verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So the Lord is saying, Lokesmin, in this world, Dvividha, there are two types of what? Nishtha. Nishtha can mean here faith. So there are two types of faith in this world that people have. Pura Prokta Maya Nagha. I have already spoken about both of them before to you, Arjuna. Both of the types of faith I have spoken to you before. Where did he speak about them? He spoke about them in verse number 2.39. Okay. So what are those two types of faith? Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. So those two types of faith are called Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Okay. So Krishna is saying that these are two types of mentality, you can say, or attitude, you can say, mindset, you can say, nature, you can say. Faith is related to all this. So that these people, first category is those who are more inclined towards karma. Um, and there another category which is more inclined towards jnana. They are not separate processes. They are two steps on the same ladder, you can say. The ladder is the same, the ladder of yoga. But these are two steps, two rungs on that ladder. Karma yoga is for those who cannot give up the work. They are not qualified to give up the work. Or they should not because it's their duty to continue doing those things. And Jnana yoga is for those who can, because of purification of heart, mind, senses, they can give up the work, detached from work. So depending on one's nishtha, means one's position, one's faith, one's purity of heart, one should act either on the platform of karma or on the platform of jnana. Hmm. Okay. Now, who should act on the path of karma? Anyone who has material desires. Simple. Hmm? And who should act on the platform of jnana? Whose material desires are over. Okay. That's the criterion. Hmm? So anyone whose material desires are over can act on the platform of jnana. Karma is for those whose material desires are still existing. Let's read the translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I've already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self, which means their goal is the same. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. Now, Srila Prabhupada he translates karma yoga into devotional service. That is, you can say, Srila Prabhupada's approach to it. Technically, here it is karma yoga, but Prabhupada will translate that as bhakti because he will try to bring everything within the fold of bhakti. Purport, Aarti Mataji, please read.
Yes, Prabhu. In the second chapter, verse 39, the Lord explained two kinds of procedures, namely Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga, or Buddhi Yoga. In this verse, the Lord explains the same more clearly. Sankhya Yoga, or the analytical study of the nature of spirit and matter, is a subject matter for persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. The other class of men work in Krishna consciousness, as it is explained in the 61st verse of the second chapter. The Lord has explained also in the 39th verse that by working by the principles of Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, one can be relieved from the bonds of action. And furthermore, there is no flaw in the process. The same principle is more clearly explained in the 61st verse that this Buddhi Yoga is to depend entirely on the Supreme, or more specifically, on Krishna. And in this way, all the senses can be brought under control very easily. Therefore, both the yogas are interdependent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment, or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. The ultimate goal is Krishna. Because the philosophers who are also sincerely searching after the absolute truth come in the end to Krishna consciousness. This is also stated in the Bhagavad-Gita. The whole process is to be understood, is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. The indirect process is philosophical speculation, by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness. And the other process is directly connecting with everything in Krishna consciousness. Of these two, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by a philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process. And by the direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime. Thank you.
Thank you. So Krishna consciousness is in itself the purifying process. When it is karma yoga, then what happens is you engage in work. By engaging in work, the senses, the heart get purified. And then when the heart is purified, then with that purified heart, one engages in jnana. Without purified heart, one cannot engage in jnana. In Krishna consciousness, however, the both cultivation of knowledge as well as purification of heart go on simultaneously. So one doesn't have to separately endeavor to purify the heart. It happens together. Therefore, you can say it's like clubbing the two things together. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Bhakti yoga means you club them together, put them together. It saves time. Right? It saves time. So that's what he is explaining in the purport. Fine. So by practicing Krishna consciousness, the heart will naturally become purified. Okay.
प्रभु जी
Yes.
मुझे ज्ञान योग समझ नहीं आया है, वो
क्या समझ
समझाएंगे?
नहीं If
Uh,
you talk in English, it will be better because everyone here doesn't understand Hindi.
not understood Jnana Yoga properly.
You have not
Like,
understood Jnana Yoga properly.
huh.
So
So,
Jnana
like,
Yoga means it is
karma,
more of pursuing the knowledge. It's more of an intellectual pursuit. A person is like a philosopher, always thinking about some subject matter. So Jnana Yoga is more like that. Hmm.
okay.
Right? It's an intellectual pursuit.
Okay, so Prabhupada was not on the platform of he was doing karma but dovetail with Krishna consciousness, and he was writing this books and all that Gyan Yoga also, and he was doing bhakti also.
So
His
when we talk about the books, we should know that writings, scriptures full of devotional subject matter with the spirit of devotion is not gyan here technically. That is bhakti only. Hmm. That's not gyan. So here the word gyan has a very specific meaning. What is that? It's the pursuit of the subject matter of self-realization by intellectually manipulating one's observations and then trying to come to a conclusion. That's called jnana. That's a very specific meaning that the word jnana takes here. Okay. So when it said the path of jnana, that means this path we are talking about. Hmm. Srila Prabhupada writing books, or even we now studying Bhagavad-Gita, this is not the path of jnana. This is the path of bhakti only because we are trying to do it devotionally for the sake of devotional service. Mhm. Fine. So now, um, who are jnanis? So jnanis are speculators, mental speculators. They are very intellectual and they try to decode everything intellectually. Hmm. Fine. All right. Let's go to next verse. Verse number 4. न कर्मणामनारम्भा नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च संन्यासनाद् एव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न कर्मणाम anarambha naishkarmyam purushoshnute. Now Krishna is clearing up some doubts which Arjuna may have. What is that? If you think that you don't work and by not working you can become free from reactions to karma, then that is not the right understanding. Okay. So just by escaping
Prabhuji,
from
the,
huh,
these are the two ladders,
which two
different
ladders?
ladders.
Which two
Yeah,
ladders? Which two ladders?
one is Jnana Yoga and one is the Bhakti
Then
Yoga.
they are not two ladders. They are two steps on the same ladder.
They are the two steps on the same ladder.
Yeah.
Means going on the top, you will have to cross either one.
Yeah. The top is Bhakti Yoga. Fine. So one is either you step by step go to Bhakti Yoga or you directly go to Bhakti Yoga.
Same ladder.
That
Okay.
that will study in chapter 6. The yoga ladder. So not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So Krishna is telling, if you think you stop working and that is the solution, no, it's not. If you think you take sannyas and that's the solution, no, it's not. Yeah. So just doing things like that superficially is not the solution, right? Superficially doing things is not the solution. You cannot attain perfection by doing that, isn't it? Hmm? Like, for example, how many of you think just because of putting tilak on the forehead and wearing kanthimala, all the material desires went away? It doesn't go like that, isn't it? So Krishna is saying, just because you take sannyas, you think you'll become perfect. It doesn't work like that. Hmm? It doesn't work like that. So he's saying, don't go for the superficial thing. Hmm? Uh, he's trying to explain the concept. Now, that's a very important thing. When I was new to this movement, um, so the thing is, I have a nature that since my childhood, I never followed the mass. I mean, I would always question why someone is doing what. If my friends did something, why? My classmates did something, why? Something has to be pursued as your career or profession, why? I didn't follow the mass always. So when it came to practicing Krishna consciousness also, so I didn't really follow the mass. Like, okay, everyone is doing it, so let me just copy and do it. I always wanted to understand that is it good for me or not? It may be good for someone else, but will it be good for me also or not? So I was studying these chapters of Bhagavad Gita very nicely or very scrutinizingly because here Krishna is telling Arjuna that uh, one solution will not fit all. It all depends on your level, your nature, your purity, you know, it, it depends on that. So, um, but generally what happens is people, they follow what everyone is doing because they see things or they want to see things superficially. It's easy enough. It's easy, correct? It's very easy. Huh? Um, what is easy? To follow a diet plan which is already made, or to do research, make the diet plan and then follow.
To follow what is already made.
Already made. Yeah, that's what we all like to do, isn't it? So generally, people try to go for superficial solution, which they think is for everyone and works for everyone. And that's easy. But here, Krishna is telling Arjuna, that's not going to work. You'll have to individualize the knowledge that is being given to you and then apply based on what your level is, then to move forward, you know. Correct? So here, Arjuna is helping all of us in that sense that you know yourself, you know your level, and then you take the help of knowledge of Gita to move ahead in your spiritual life. Isn't it? Not just superficially do what someone else is doing, and that's going to also help you in your spiritual life. It's not going to work like that. Mm, right? Certain things may, but some things may not. Fine. So here, Krishna is making this clear. Let's read the purport. Abhay Sinha Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Tanvat Pranam. The renounced order of life can be accepted when one has been purified by the discharge of the prescribed form of duties which are laid down just to purify the hearts of materialistic men. Without purification, one cannot attain success by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life, sannyasa. According to the empirical philosophers, simply by adopting sannyasa or retiring from fruitive activities, one at once becomes one at once becomes as good as Narayana. But Lord Krishna does not approve this principle. Without purification of heart, sannyasa is simply a disturbance to the social order. On the other hand, if someone takes to the transcendental service of the Lord, even without discharging his prescribed duties, whatever he may be able to advance in the cause is accepted by the Lord. Buddhi Yoga. Swa Alpam. Appas अपयश्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो bhayat. Even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, so Shilpa is talking about people who take sannyas in the Mayavad line, and they think just because I have taken sannyas, I have become as good as Narayana. I think that sannyas is useless. Better you perform your duties in a Krishna conscious manner and make progress in your spiritual consciousness.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes.
Like you, when we discharge our all material activities, when our heart become pure, so we can go towards Jnana Yoga if we are growing step by step.
Yeah, if you're
So
going step by step. Yes.
throughout the life, our material duties won't finish because
No, no,
material.
your material duties will finish. No, why it will not finish? If it will not finish, then why are there four stages? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi.
A person reaches 60 retirement, then according to these four ashramas, he will start bhakti that time only. So, and
No,
we see when
why would he? Why would he?
like brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi.
It's not necessary that you start bhakti after taking sannyas. Can start before also. No?
I don't understand how material duties can be finished.
Material duties. Um, what do you mean by? What do you understand by material duties? Let us first get an idea
Like,
of that.
suppose my father is there, so yeah, they did bhakti and all that. He had a duty of earning, maintaining child livelihood of the means family,
Family.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he is retired,
Yes.
although he doesn't have anything work related duty, but he has
Hmm.
a duty carrying the daughters and so
So
on. Like,
the you see, please try to understand. Now, this is a problem of our civilization, right? That we are not winding up our duties on time. Now, if you don't wind up your duties on time, then till the time one dies, one's duties will always remain. If you look at the Vedic lifestyle, then how was it? Let's say a person gets married by the age of 25, have kids. By the age of 50, that person becomes 50, his children becomes marriageable age, right? So at the age of 50, that person gets, most of his kids get married. And now that person is free of that duty of getting the kids married. Now the kids will begin their own life. Now in Kali Yuga, we have completely spoiled that system. A person himself gets married at the age of 40. Then when the first child is there, then that person is 42, you know. Now when the child comes to marriageable age, let's say 25, then that person is already 67. Plus, the kids are also so wonderful these days. They don't get married soon or on time. They want to get married at 30, 32, 35. They want to explore life and all that. So now, then how will the duties end? We are making the things complicated. In that sense, the duties can never end, of course. But then you have to end them if you are interested in something else on time, isn't it?
okay, so you mean duties end means at the age of 50, 55, person
Ah,
should be free from marrying
free,
children.
people should become free. That's how the Vedic lifestyle was designed. So that
And
whatever 20, 30 years are remaining in his or her life can focus on Krishna consciousness or spiritual life completely.
okay, okay, Prabhuji.
And that's how devotee should also plan. It's not something which is, okay, it happened in the past, now we can't do anything about it, but we have to learn from that. Otherwise, the burden of making money, the burden of um, all that will go on till the end of your life, and then how will you take out time for Krishna consciousness sufficiently, isn't it? So, therefore, finishing up one's duties on time is very important. Finishing up duties doesn't here mean that you have to now completely disconnect yourself from the people around you. But what are the major responsibilities in life? We're talking about that, the major responsibilities. That should be finished on time. It's that is that's why it was made, no, like that. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Pitaji.
So this is now what you can say an ideal to be able to finish your duties on time.
Yeah,
Because majority on the ground, it's not happening.
it's not happening.
Even within the devotee society.
That
So
doesn't
then what
happen.
do you advise? What is your advice for now? Because it's the opposite. What is the solution? Devotees want to have children from 35 and up, or might not be able, or their children are coming very late. So what is your advice, Hare Krishna?
That's why Srila Prabhupada said, don't wait for you to get 50 to start bhakti. Start from the small age. You know. Don't wait till that age to start bhakti. Start from wherever you are, whatever age you have. Right? If because that ideal situation is not there, therefore you start working on the ultimate solution right from this age. At least in the life you have got something, you have done something, you have achieved some spiritual credits. That's why this is there. We can't change the system, right? We can't change it. But then those who can change for their personal life, it's good if they can change. But for those who cannot change on their personal end, and they anyway practice Krishna consciousness, that's a nice thing to do.
Thank you so much.
That's a nice thing to do. Therefore, that's the thing. Therefore, when you said that even in devotee communities we see such problems arising, the solution for that is let's learn from the mistakes which the previous generation has done and encourage people who want to get into Grihastha ashram to not delay it so much. Get in on time, right? Get in on time, not delay it unnecessarily. So we have to also kind of create such awareness within the community. When awareness is there, maybe 1 out of 10 people will take it seriously. Who knows? 2 people will take seriously. So at least those 2 people got benefited, now,
Yes.
isn't it? Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, who doesn't know the problem of bringing up a child when you are, let's say, in 40s? Everyone knows about it. What to speak of a problem for you? It's a problem for the child also. Why? Because when the man and woman gets older, then the child they bring up will not be very healthy, will have some physical issues, you know, because the strength of the man and the woman is going down year by year. So it's going to be a problem with the child also, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this is not something which we are talking only from scriptural perspective. Even modern science talks about it. A late child, a child given birth by a person who is more in age is not very strong physically sometimes has mental challenges, it is seen. So many issues are there. So it kinds of disrupts the whole ecosystem. So we have to spread an awareness in the community that don't just blindly follow. If you are serious about your personal life, then I think that once someone turns 18, 19, 20, that person really has to get serious about life and then choose the direction where you want to move ahead. Not delay it further. So we have to create awareness.
I agree, Prabhu. You mentioned a point which I thought was a wonderful point, that this Krishna is speaking about the ideal, but because he's given us the knowledge, then we should be able to understand how we can apply it in our level according to the degree of the purity of our heart. And it's such a valuable point, because what I've lived in and what I have seen is that everybody wants to be ideal. Everybody, when people come into contact with Krishna consciousness, everybody believes sincerely that they can achieve the highest goal at once. Everybody wants to renounce immediately. So much so that even our leaders, after many years of practicing Krishna consciousness and devoting their lives, then they come to realize that I think I would have been better off married, and then they get married when they're young. So this is eye-opening. This is eye-opening. Thank you.
Yes. So what we should do is that if you are a preacher, if you are a Bhakti Vriksha leader, if you have people whom you're counseling, so uh, don't let them go to the shortcuts. Sometimes the path of shortcut is more exciting. Just like giving up everything immediately. I say that's a shortcut. Why it is a shortcut? Because you have not purified yourself and you want to enjoy the freedom. So it's a shortcut, isn't it? You have not purified yourself and you want to enjoy that freedom. It's a shortcut. So we should not encourage the people to go for the shortcut. And the problem with Kali Yuga is that 99% people are interested in the shortcut only. In everything in life, whether it's married life, whether it is upbringing a child, whether it is earning money, whether it is health, whether it is Krishna consciousness, everyone is interested in the shortcut. Give less, get more. But we all know that when we follow the principle of give less, get more, for few years it's very, very exciting, but after some time we start bearing the consequences. So we have to educate people. It's very important to educate people. Okay, fine. Let's continue our reading. We have not read this purport, I think. What did we read? We read? Yeah, we read 3.5. There's a nice lesson which I put on the slide. Accept roles and responsibilities only after thorough and honest self-assessment. Accept roles and responsibilities only after thorough and honest self-assessment. Not why someone is telling you, just do it. No, don't go by that. Just do it. Someone encourages you, just do it. No. You should have your self-assessment also. Am I qualified for it? Isn't it? Like, how many of you have seen people get married just because they were told get married? So many people, right? But when they get married, do they really understand what it means to be a good husband, good wife, good mother, good father? No, they don't. Isn't it? So people will always push us in doing things which may not be always good for us. That we should know. So we should assess ourselves honestly. Is it for me? Am I qualified for it? Will I do it nicely? One should have that. And then take a decision. Take a decision. So someone tells you, become a grihastha, forces you. No, first you pause and check yourself. Become a brahmachari lifelong. Pause, check yourself. Take sannyas, pause, check yourself. You know, accept this responsibility. Pause, check yourself. Very important. And then you can also always express if you feel that this is lacking in you, then you express and get a solution for it. Mm. Right. Next verse. Text
Prabhuji,
5.
quick question. How about
Yes.
for in the Krishna consciousness itself, like say like a BV leader or things like that? So
Yeah.
sometimes we lack confidence more, and our Shiksha gurus have more confidence in us, and they say you are ready.
Yeah, that's fine. If it's only a matter of lacking confidence, that's a different thing. If they see that you don't have the skill but you have the character, then you are qualified.
Okay, Prabhuji.
But if you have the skill and you don't have the character, that's a problem then, right?
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
sometimes when we are lacking confidence, it may be because we are lacking the skill, but that can be learned by time, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Correct.
Sometimes we just feel that will we do justice to
Correct.
the
But that's a
level of
skill.
yeah.
But that's a skill. You can learn it. But when it
Yeah.
comes to character means what? Your sincerity, your integrity, your selflessness,
Yeah.
right? Your genuineness. So
Yes.
that should be there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Text 5. Na hi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtati karma krit karyate hi avashah karma sarvah prakriti jair gunehi. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. So Krishna is telling everyone has got certain nature and they will act, you know, in that nature out of force of the material modes. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Mhm. One cannot stop from doing something, not even from. So, therefore, we have to understand what the nature of the person is, and then accordingly that person has to be molded into doing something, right? It's very important. We cannot just overcome that nature. It doesn't happen. I've given this example before also. Let's say there's a person who is very business minded. He or she joins the movement and becomes a full-time devotee. So you'll find it for sure that that person is interested in services which are more related to dealing with money, getting money, making profit, doing things like that, because that person has such a bent of mind, isn't it? Um, there's a devotee, Srila Prabhupada disciple, his name is Garga Muni Prabhu. You must have heard his name. He's a brother of uh, Brahmanand Prabhu. So Garga Muni Prabhu was always very um, you can say, smart in knowing how to make money out of anything. So, most of his services he did in the movement was coming up with ideas so that you can make money, right? And that nature did not change even after, let's say, becoming a brahmachari or, you know, anything like that. It remained the same. So one's nature doesn't change. One should know one's nature. One cannot artificially refrain oneself from doing something. Fine. Okay. Let's read the purport here. Chanakya Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Purport. It is not a question of embodied life, but it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move. The body is only a dead vehicle to be worked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop even for a moment. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in the good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it will be engaged in occupations dictated by the illusionary energy. In contact with material energy, the spirit soul acquires material modes, and to purify the soul from such affinities, it is necessary to engage in the prescribed duties enjoined in the Shastras. But if the soul is engaged in his natural function of Krishna consciousness, whatever he is able to do so is good for him. The Srimad Bhagavatam 1.15.17 affirms this. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजं हरेर् भजन्नपाको अतपते ततो यदि यत्र क्व वा भद्रम् अबुध अमुष्य किं को वार्ताप्तो भजतां स्वधर्मतः. If someone takes to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras or execute the devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he carries out all the injunctions for purification in the Shastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? So the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sannyasa or any purificatory process is to help reach the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered a failure. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, next verse. Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyartan vimodhatma mithyachara sauchyate. One who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. So Krishna is telling that you may externally give up your work, but if your mind is hovering on that platform only, always, then are you not a pretender? You are. Mhm. So therefore, therefore, don't be a pretender. Be what you are, and do things accordingly. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, very interesting purport again, Vardhani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness but make a show of meditation while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers, but according to this verse, these are great cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order. But if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy. His knowledge has no value because the effects of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever.
Yes. So Srila Prabhupada is writing in the first line, Sometimes, what? There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness, but make a show of meditation while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. He's talking about people who so-called yogis, all that. They don't want to work in Krishna consciousness for the Supreme Lord in the sense of detachment. And they are artificially presenting themselves as very advanced. No, so they are not to be trusted, and such kind of pretension should not be done. Next verse. Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarbhati arjuna karmendriyehi karma yogam asakta sa vishishyate. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. So such a person is by far superior, you know, who can control the active senses by the mind and begin karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment. So who is learning to do things without attachment? That's the point. Learning to do things without attachment is by far superior. Fine. Why? Because the problem is not in the action, but the problem is in the attachment. That's where the problem is, not in the action. Nothing in the world, in this world, is, you can say, whatever is allowed is a wrong action. Now, killing someone may also be the right action, isn't it? So there's nothing wrong with the action. There's wrong with the mindset. The problem is in the mind. So one has to work on the attachment aspect. That's more important. Purport. Sankarshan Vishnu Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Instead of becoming a pseudo-transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime Swadgati or goal of self-interest is to reach Vishnu. The whole institution of Varna and Ashrama is designed to help us reach the goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live in a controlled life as prescribed in Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts show bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So Sirpal is saying a sweeper of the street, if he's detached, dutiful, is much better than a pretender. So the attitude is given more importance than what we are doing. And understanding the same concept in Krishna consciousness, we can apply it. What service you do in the movement, in the institute, doesn't matter so much. What is the attitude with you do, that matters a lot. Just like whether you are a Brahmana or a Shudra, doesn't matter. With what consciousness you do the activities of a Brahmana, with what consciousness the activities of a Shudra. That's what is more important. Correct? Similarly, we should know that sometimes there is a false hype in any material organization or even some spiritual institutes about this thing better than the other thing, or this thing which is of a higher grade than the other thing. And many a times what happens is when we join an institute like iskcon, our whole purpose of mm, existence in the institute revolves around this understanding that I need to grow from one level to the next level to the next level, which is not the level of spiritual growth, but it is the level of what you are doing in the institute. Like, for example, I'm a new bhakta. So I'll get sometimes some chance to broom the temple floor. Then after some time, now I become initiated. So I'll get chance to bless the deities. Then I have done Bhakti-sastri. Now I'll give chance to give classes to people. So then we think what? This makes you a more better devotee, senior devotee or advanced devotee, that you are giving classes and you're not cleaning the floor. So a person starts thinking like that, or a person starts evaluating one's whole Krishna consciousness in this way. What service I am doing, how this service brings me attention, more power, more control, isn't it? And people are unnecessarily sometimes seen fighting for certain services, certain opportunities, certain positions, because they think once I get there, I am that pure devotee. I am that sincere devotee. I am that best devotee. Yeah. But we understand very clearly from Gita, Bhagavad Gita here, chapter 3, what you do is not really important. What is the mentality with which you do it? That's very important, isn't it? So you could be, let's say, the president of the temple, but having a lesser quality of Krishna consciousness than a sweeper in the temple having a more quality of Krishna consciousness. It is possible. Mhm. Very much possible.
Right,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I have two questions. Like,
Yeah.
how to perform action without attachment? Because
That
suppose
that
I,
how will we perform action without attachment? The answer to that is what you are doing now, we have to keep on doing it. Studying Bhagavad-Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, chanting Japa, and then whatever actions you perform, the result that you get from that action, whether it is doing your job, whether it is cooking something for the Lord, whether it is studying, whether it is doing this or doing that, whatever result you get from that, you offer that result to Krishna. That is the way you become detached from your actions.
and the second question is that how mental speculation person can be pure heart. Like we said, if we do karma yoga, from karma to yoga, jnani yoga we go. So when person heart is clean, it goes to jnani yoga. So there they do mental speculation. How it could be pure heart person can do mental speculation?
Mental speculation here means what? Mental speculation means you're trying to understand a subject matter from different angles. That's mental speculation. If not this, that, if that, then this. And because you have
But
a pure heart,
it's our own concoction.
it's not, yeah, it's not your own concoction. You are trying to analyze something. But because your heart is pure, your intelligence is pure, because of that, your analysis will come to the right conclusion
Okay, thank you.
because they are in goodness. So when you analyze, you'll understand better or you'll understand correctly. When the heart is not pure and you analyze, That analysis will not give the correct conclusion because the heart is not pure.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhu.
what about the satisfaction, consolation, or happiness which we get after performing a seva? It should be
Satisfaction, happiness,
satisfaction, happiness, or
or
whatever you
whatever.
say. What should be done to it? How it can given back to Krishna?
Thank you. Thank Krishna.
How it can be given to Krishna?
You thank Krishna.
Hello, Hare Krishna.
You thank Krishna for it.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you is a big word actually.
Okay.
By thanking Krishna. Thanking Krishna means basically giving the credit to Krishna. Just like, let me give you an example. Let's say you are a coach. Okay, you are a coach and you have a student whom you are preparing for some sports competition. The student is doing the actual hard work, no? Exercising and all that.
Yeah.
You're just the coach, you're just guiding the student. Now the student wins the gold medal. So uh, when the student is given the mic in front of the whole crowd, where let's say 10, 20,000 people are sitting, and the student is asked to say a few words. So at that time, if the student just says this thing, actually, all this success which I have gotten is not because of me. It's because of the training that my coach gave. And then takes the name of the coach and says, thanks to you, otherwise I would not have achieved this success. That thank you will mean a lot to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
That appreciation. Because he gave the credit to you. He may not give you the money coming from the competition, all that. But just the credit also does a lot. So similarly, when we get something which is not a physical thing, like you said, you uh, felt some happiness by doing some seva. So now, how can you give it back to Krishna? So you give the credit to Krishna. Thank you so much, Krishna, for the happiness, for the experience, for the opportunity.
Okay, Prabhu, thanks.
All right. Next verse. 3.8. Niyatam kuru karma tvam कर्म ज्यायो हि कर्मणः शरीर यात्रा पीचते न प्रसिद्ध्येत कर्मणः. Perform a prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. So he's saying that you should perform your duty, Arjuna, because just to live in this world, to maintain your body, you need to work. You know, that could be the most, you can say, simplest reason to tell someone that you should work. Just to maintain yourself, you need to work. You need to do something. So how can you take sannyas? You can't, right? And therefore, Prabhupada brings up this point that taking sannyas or giving up your duties is not to become burden on the society. Yeah, right? It's not to become burden on the society. If we are becoming a burden on the society, then our such kind of renunciation is useless. is pointless. You know, fine. Okay, like I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say someone is a person living in a village. Uh, and in village people, we're talking about an ordinary village. So people, they don't really eat very rich food in villages. They don't have much options also either. They'll eat some vegetables, fruits, grains, that's all. Not like the kind of preparations we make, very rich with a lot of options and varieties. In village life, it's not always possible. I remember once with our Siksha Guru, we went to one village in Haryana for preaching. Village means nowadays, village doesn't really mean mud house, but a village. So we went for a program for 3 days. So everyone who invited us for prasadam at home, they had the same menu only. 3 times a day, you are eating the same thing for 3 days. Same menu, right? Exactly same. Sabji is also same. Sweet is also same. Nothing different. Why? Because you don't get much. There are not many options in the village. So whatever is more available in that season, whatever people think uh, is an opulent food, menu here, they offer that to you. Correct. So that's how a village is. So let's say there's a village setup where people are just eating very simple food, and now one devotee goes there to preach. It's a full-time devotee, regardless of being a brahmachari or a grihastha. He goes there to preach and opens a center there. Fine. So on the day of Ekadashi, that person tells them, today is Ekadashi, we don't eat grains. So the villager said, so, okay, what will you eat then? She said, cashew nuts, almonds, right? The, fox nuts, makhana, correct? And then, what do you call it? Mm, buckwheat, hmm? And all those things, plus a lot of pure ghee. So the villagers will say, are you fasting or enjoying your senses today more on Ekadashi? You know, because on regular day also we don't eat such rich food, and on the day of fast you want to eat cashew nuts, almonds, buckwheat and ghee and all that, Mhm. right? So with those villagers, it will not really click. that, Is this fasting? So they will think, are you really fasting or you are becoming a burden on us? That today we provide you with so much of donation that you can eat your cashew nuts and almonds and all that because you are fasting. So then such fasting is not fasting. Why? Because for my fasting sake, I am becoming a burden on others. Understanding? So Shiva says that spiritual life is not to be conducted in such a way that by me doing it, I am becoming a burden on the society. Then that is not really renunciation. That is not tyaga. That's not tyaga. Okay? Hmm? That's not tyaga. Hmm. So one should work. Purport. Let's read. Aladhani Gopi Mataji.
There are many pseudo mediators who misrepresent themselves as belonging to high parentage and great professional men who falsely pose that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become a pretender. Rather, the Lord desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duties as set forth for Kshatriyas. Arjuna was a householder and a military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such as perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. So called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord. nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not be given up capriciously, without purification of materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in the material world is certainly possessed of the impure propensity for lording it over material nature, or, in other words, for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so, though through prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become so called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at the cost of others.
So living at the cost of others, this should be avoided, right? Therefore, uh, few days ago, I was having a conversation with a group of devotees, and we're just talking like that. So I told them, this is what I understand, that whoever you may be when you are in iskcon, whatever post and position you may have, whether you're brahmachari, sannyasi, grihastha, full-time preacher, temple president, head of department, head pujari, counselor, guru, whatever, don't see that as a position to enjoy, as a privilege. See that as a duty, right? It's my duty to be the temple president. It's my duty to be a sannyasi. It's my duty to be a diksha guru. It's my duty to be a preacher. It's my duty to be a head pujari. And I have to do it in the sense of duty for my own purification. It's a duty which I have accepted for my purification. It's not a duty I have accepted for delivering others. You know, right? Not something which I am doing to deliver others, to help others, to benefit others. No, it's what I'm doing for my own sake, for my own spiritual development, for me going closer to Krishna. Right. So the spirit of duty has to be brought in. Not that because now I am a sadhu, I can just I can just accept donations from people and use it the way I like it. No, right? That's not allowed. That's not correct. Mm. So we cannot do things at the cost of others. That's not allowed. That's not very good. And that will be detrimental for our own Krishna consciousness. We have to do things more in the sense of duty. It's my duty. It's for my purification. Right. Isn't it? And if the privilege is coming with that post and position, we should be very uncomfortable to accept that privilege. It should not be, okay, yes, I deserve it. Why you deserve it? You don't have to feel like that you deserve it. Isn't it? So it's my duty. We should that if we just do like that, we'll remain very grounded. And that is the spirit of detachment. That is the spirit which Krishna is asking us to do. You know, Mhm. Anything it may be. You are a husband in the family. Don't become proud that you are maintaining the family. See that as your duty for your purification, right? Similarly, you're the wife in the family, the mother. Don't think that I'm running the house, I'm controlling everyone. Everything should happen because I'm the boss. You should think because I'm in this body and I'm in this in this duty, this is my way of purification. Right? Someone is donating billions of dollars to a temple, millions of dollars to a temple or whatever, because that person is filthy rich. So that person should not think, you see, I'm doing such a big favor to these people. No, that's your duty. Because you are rich, you should give more money to Krishna. It's your duty. It's not something that you are doing as a favor. That's your duty, right? Similarly, if you have knowledge, if you are sharing that knowledge, don't become proud that you know so much and the other person doesn't know at all. Because if you have knowledge, it's your duty to share the knowledge. It doesn't make you special anyway. Right? So we have to, whatever we do, we have to learn to do it in the sense of duty, whether it is our material duties or it is our spiritual duties. It's my duty, right? Like someone tells you, Prabhuji, please come to the temple and give a class on Bhagavad-Gita, or Mataji, please give a class on Bhagavad-Gita. We should not think, I'm giving this class, so I'm benefiting people there. No, it's a duty given to me, which if I execute in the right spirit, it will help in my own purification. Right? So that thing has to be cultivated, and we should not. That's real transcendentalism. Then only artificially thinking that I have become transcendental. So this spirit has to be adopted. This spirit has to be taken in. Very important, right? It's a matter of my duty. Yes, Prabhu. Sankarsha
Uh,
Mission.
Prabhuji, what about if it is vice versa?
What vice versa?
For example, if I am doing the deity worship in the temple in front of many devotees in the altar, and suppose I'm not able to blow the conch shell properly, the
Then,
feelings, the feelings which I get is a complex type of feeling.
so
It should be there or not should not be there.
learn to blow the conch shell.
But that is for me. But what about the what others are thinking?
It's okay. That's human nature. Do you think that if you stop thinking about what others are thinking by doing that, you become transcendental? That's
Oh,
not transcendental.
yeah.
That's not transcendental. Correct? So that's okay. That's human nature. If you do something not properly, you may feel little inferior, or that's okay. Main, but the thing is, if you have to blow the conch shell, you learn to blow. If you can't blow, you ask someone else to blow. Simple.
Sometimes it happens so.
Yeah, so that's okay. No problem. Everyone can do a mistake. That's okay. Mm. See, what people will think about us and what they will not think about us has not much to do with how detached you are. Some people, they think more about what others they think. Some people don't think much about what others think. That may be just your personal nature. That's okay. That's fine. Fine, last verse for today. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra loko yam karma bandhanah tadartham karma kaunteya muktah sangha samachara. So therefore, what should Arjuna do? Yagya arthat karmanah. Do your work for the purpose of yagya. Yagya is one of the names of Lord Vishnu. So basically saying do your work for the sake of Lord Vishnu. Yagya arthat karmanah. Anyatra lokoyam. If you do work otherwise, it will lead to karma bandhana. Tadartham karma kaunteya muktah sangha samachara. And if you work in the right spirit, it will lead you to liberation, deliverance. Isn't it? So that's what we should do. We should do things in the spirit of duty, detachment, and devotion. And anything it may be, whether it is by studying Bhagavad Gita, you come to know whether it is something you are doing in the temple or it is something you're doing outside the temple. Anything, do it with the spirit of duty, detachment, and devotion. And it will lead to development in consciousness. Even if you're working in your company, in your office, do the thing in the spirit of duty, detachment, and devotion. Right? Correct? So then that also leads to development of consciousness. Fine. For the sake of the Lord. Work done as a sacrifice of Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. In that way, you will always remain free from bondage. Okay. Sita Mataji, please read.
Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties for a particular social position and quality are so made that the purpose can be fulfilled. Yagya means Lord Vishnu or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances also are meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin Yagyo Vai Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yagyas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yagya as it is prescribed in this verse. The Varnashram institution also aims at satisfying Lord Vishnu. Varnashrama charavata Purushena para puman Vishnur aradyate. Vishnu Purana 388. Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be a cause of bondage, for both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reaction binds the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. And while performing such activities, one is in a liberated stage. This is the great art of doing work, and in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna, or under the direct instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God.
Thank you. So here Prabhupada says this practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to transcendental loving service of the Lord. Now, how many of you think, but we are already there, right? We are transcendentally serving the Supreme Lord in a loving manner, chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. That is transcendental loving service. Offering bhoga to the Lord, that is transcendental loving service. Reading, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, doing Nagar Sankirtan, book distribution, serving the pure devotee of Krishna, going to Vrindavan Dham. Is that all not transcendental loving service? Blessing the deity, doing deity's abhishek. Yes or no? Is it transcendental loving service or no? So how is it possible that without doing things in a dutiful, detached manner, we already reach transcendental loving devotional service?
Prabhuji, I am not doing transcendental service.
Are you sure?
Prabhuji, I know my level. I know
Okay.
my.
See, even
I
if,
know.
let's say, you are serving a pure devotee of Krishna and you are, let's say, making juice for the pure devotee of Krishna. So that is not transcendental loving service.
But Prabhuji, very minute we might be doing. Very minute I will be doing, but not a transcendental level. I don't know.
Very good. Very nice. Very honest answer. So you are doing the service which transcendentalists do, but you are not transcendental yet.
It's the attitude behind Prabhu, like.
Yes. So you are doing what the great personalities do, but you are not really doing it in a transcendental consciousness, isn't it? Hmm? So we are doing what is to be done, but the thing is, we are still not doing it in a transcendental loving manner. Because transcendental loving manner means what? Prema bhakti. Prema bhakti, right? Hmm? So are we doing prema bhakti? No, we are doing sadhana bhakti. Correct? Isn't it? Makes it clear? Hmm? So someone may think, but I'm already doing transcendental things. No, no, you are doing transcendental things, but not that you are transcendental. And why we are getting to do those transcendental things? That is special mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, that we're getting a chance. It's like you can't be really a Superman, at least wear the dress of a Superman. It's okay. You can think yourself to be a Superman. At least wear the dress, but you are not Superman. Similarly, you don't have love for Krishna, at least show that you love Krishna. Or you think that you love Krishna. You know, you dress Krishna, you bathe Krishna, you cook for Krishna, you talk about Krishna, you do all those things as if you love Krishna. But we all know inside our heart how much we love Krishna. And no one has to tell us, isn't it? So, how to come to the transcendental loving service platform? Shilpa says, this practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to transcendental loving service of the Lord. Right? So, what we understand that this attitude which Krishna is teaching to Arjuna is the way to coming to the level of prema bhakti, pure devotional service. And that can alone raise one to the kingdom of God. Right? Hmm? Fine. So that's why the spirit is mentioned here. Okay. All right. We stop here before we end this session.
Prabhuji,
Just
just for example purpose, are there any living beings currently who are doing transcendental loving service to Krishna? I know Prabhupada was there, but in the current people
there,
who
of
are,
course, there are. Of course. How do you know Prabhupada was transcendental?
because the service was it's a known. I mean, from what we read
Because
and hear.
everyone tells, everyone
Yes,
knows, the
yeah,
whole world knows. That's how you know,
yeah,
right?
yes.
Correct. Isn't it? So there are many people who at present may be hidden transcendentalists, but after 50 years, you'll come to know about them also,
Okay.
right? So the point is, such people will always be there, will always be there, you know. But you have to be sincere and fortunate. Then you may come across them and you may identify them.
Okay. It's our inability to see them more
Yeah,
than
because
they are not
yeah,
being.
because we are not, we don't know the science. Then how? Like for example, if you are not good in mathematics, can you really know who's good at mathematics?
Yeah.
No. But if you know something about mathematics, then you can find who is a genius in mathematics,
Okay. So, but
isn't
at
it?
least to listen and know from people who know that way.
Yeah, but that's not really the good way to
Okay.
know.
At least for awareness purpose.
It's not a good way to know that way. Best
Okay.
is you, best is you be sincere, and then Krishna brings you to such person.
Okay,
But then
Prabhu.
definitely there are so many devotees who are transcendental,
Okay.
right? Who are
Yeah.
transcendental. There are many such personalities in iskcon, outside iskcon. There are many such personalities who are transcendental.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Uji, outside ISKCON example, can we
I
know that?
won't take names. Why should I take
Okay.
names? I have no
Okay.
names.
Okay.
But
They
then
might.
there, but why should we become so interested to know outside ISKCON? Do you think there cannot be anyone outside ISKCON transcendental?
So just I wanted to know, that's all.
Yeah, but there will be. Why ISKCON only? ISKCON doesn't have a monopoly on Krishna, right? There can be personalities outside ISKCON also in different sampradayas who may be transcendentalist. There's nothing wrong. There's no problem with that. So there are people who are transcendentalist. We cannot judge them based on their dress, based on their position, based on exactly, what social status they have. You don't know. Maybe some Mataji, some woman, very simple woman, somewhere in the corner of the world, maybe a transcendentalist. Who knows about it, right? It doesn't really have to always be a big person. You know, like to give a very simple example, there are some actors who are very good actors, but they don't become celebrities. And then there are some medium level actors who become celebrities. It happens, right? Isn't it? So materially,
Correct.
someone is very charismatic, very successful, very influential in a big post position, externally renounced. That doesn't really make that person transcendental. So as I said, there can be some woman in some corner of the world. She may be a transcendentalist. Who knows about it? You know, at the time of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very strict personality, and he did not really, he had a very high standard of accepting someone as pure, very, very high standard. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, So one lady, she was a disciple of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a Bengali woman, um, who was old, living in Navadip. She moved to Navadip because in Navadip, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur made the temple for Lord Chaitanya at Yoga Peeth. We all know about it, right? Some of us might have been there also. In Navadip, Mayapur, at Yoga Peeth, Bhaktivinoda Thakur made the temple for Lord Chaitanya. Correct? You don't know about it? You know, right? So that Yoga Peeth temple is constructed by Lord Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he worked very hard to make that temple. He was like going door to door, getting penny after penny as donation, and then he made that temple. So this Mataji, she had so much affection for her guru and for the service that her guru did that, you know, um, she would sit in that temple, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's made temple after Bhaktivinoda Thakur passed away. In those days, hardly anyone would visit who knew Navadip, and population was also so scarce. So we'd go once in a while, someone came. And she just did the seva of collecting the coins which people threw here and there, or put in her hand or put somewhere. And then bringing those coins and putting in the hundi box, the temple hundi box, right? That's what she did. That my Guru Maharaj made this temple. Let me, in my capacity, whatever is possible, I should contribute to the temple by doing this, and the temple should. And she just stayed there. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur once mentioned that she is a pure devotee of Krishna who has love for Krishna. And what she did, she just collected coins and put in the hundi box. Right? No international preacher, nothing, nothing. She just collected coins, put it in the hundi box. And Bhakti Siddhanta said she is a pure devotee of Krishna. She is going back home, back to Godhead. Okay. So therefore, what is transcendental state? That is going to be revealed to Krishna, revealed to us by Krishna's mercy. And we should not have any prejudice that this person may be and this person may not be. Because the way we judge will always be superficial, you know. It will always be superficial, the way we judge. Fine, Prabhuji.
He
Thank you,
speaks
Prabhuji.
also
Hmm?
from the way he speaks. Also, we can judge on that basis of that.
Prabhu, you can never judge. Please. If we are a conditioned soul, we can never judge who is
Okay,
how much pure. It's not
okay,
possible, right?
okay.
It's not possible because we will do the mistake of misjudgment, right? Uh,
Prabhuji, one question always strikes in my mind, that why Krishna conscious movement uh, not flourished in Bangladesh area, and
who said it doesn't flourish? Come on.
means at the time of not before Prabhupada, I'm talking before ISKCON, before ISKCON,
No, Prabhu, it's not like that, that it did not flourish.
because
Do we really
no,
have this? Do we really have the statistics?
so as you go to Bangladesh, 90% of the population there is non-Krishnaized.
Because 90% of the population, there is Muslim population.
Yeah, but it if the movement would have flourished there, then percentage would have been different.
Why? Do you think you can go to Muslim country and convert them? Is it that easy?
But that was a part of the India, no?
It was part of the India, but still, because the Muslims got converted or Muslims migrated there, they have been Muslims for now centuries. It's difficult to convert them. It's difficult to convert them, right? In any Muslim country, also, if there is someone practicing Krishna consciousness, you should know they are mostly Hindus only.
At that time, Mahaprabhu was also there.
So,
God was
but
also
how
there.
do you know that how many people were devotees at that time? Do you have the statistics? You don't, right? You don't have the statistics. So there is always an under wave or a high wave. So some places may flourish in Krishna consciousness at some point of time, and then there might be a decline in that in some period of time, and then may be a rise in that. Just like when Srila Prabhupada was preaching in the United States was booming with Krishna consciousness, right? Correct? But now, do you think United States is similarly booming with Krishna consciousness? No. At present, India is booming with Krishna consciousness.
Right.
So as time period change, there's some places, sometimes dharma may be more strong, and sometimes in the same place dharma may be weak. That happens. But you can't say that there was no one practicing or less people were practicing. No. Bangladesh, that time also many people were Krishna conscious. Now also a lot of people are Krishna conscious in Bangladesh. So much preaching is going on in Bangladesh. It's just that it doesn't come on media because they cannot show it. But
Prabhuji, in Pakistan also iskcon is there. That
yeah,
is
in
the
Pakistan also is there. So in Bangladesh, there are so many devotees actually. Once His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj went there to give Diksha, there were thousands of people who wanted to take. Once Jayapataka Maharaj went there were almost like 5,000-6,000 people he gave Diksha at one shot. No. So there are so many people there. It's just that things don't get covered in the media, so we think less people. And we don't know about past 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Who knows the statistics? How many people were practicing, not practicing? We don't know, right? Okay, so we stop here. Vardhani Mataji, you had a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, actually, I have two questions, Prabhuji. First question is that how is that doing our duty dutifully without attachment brings purification? Like I have done like when I do with such consciousness, I get purified. But like, what is the science behind? Like, how does it work? Uh, what?
Because you're giving up your spirit of enjoyment,
Okay.
which is our main disease for being in the material world,
Okay.
right?
And Prabhuji, second question was that, like for me, a sincere devotee means that he's always reading, chanting, and doing his services, and like more of that, he's into himself or herself, and he's not helping devotees, etc. Like not too much talking with devotees. But what I have heard is that more you get purified, more you try to uh, serve others and help people. But like in my mind image is that serious devotee means that he is silent, he's not helping others. So can you explain this?
That's not the way of judging how someone is sincere or serious. That's just the nature of that person, right? You should know that. Pure devotional service doesn't mean that they all will be similar or same. It's their nature. And everyone has an individual nature. So someone may be introvert and still a pure devotee. Someone may be very extrovert, still a pure devotee. Someone may be very silent, still a pure devotee. Someone may be very talkative, still a pure devotee. That has got nothing to do with pure devotional service on sincerity. Because what is sincerity that is locked up in the heart of that person? How would you see it? How would you say?
Yes, I cannot see it.
Isn't it? That is sincerity, love, devotion. These things are very deep in the heart, locked up in the heart. How can we see? How can we judge? We cannot, right? So the thing is that instead of judging in this way, uh, on the basis of the external nature, the external qualities, we should understand the concept and apply the concept in life and follow that, isn't it? And then you blossom as what Krishna wants you to be, and someone else blossoms in a different manner. And still, that person may be pure devotee, and you may be a pure devotee too, or someone else also may be pure. So, we may not like someone's nature externally, but still, that person may be a pure devotee. It's just that your chemistry doesn't match, isn't it? Correct? So, we should not judge. Externally, different people have different nature. Some are silent, some are very funny, some are full of energy, some may be little dull, externally speaking. But then that doesn't mean how that internal state of that person is. You can't really judge that. You cannot know that. Some people hide also. Some people they may not want to show what their inside is. Like Jad Bharat. Externally he was so dull,
Mm.
but internally he was bursting with Krishna consciousness, correct? Isn't it? So externally, we should not really judge people. We will never know who is pure, who is not pure. And this is a big problem that happens in iskcon. Because people judge externally, many times they come to the conclusion that only my Diksha Guru is pure, no one else. Because my Diksha Guru sings in this way, my Diksha Guru dances in this way, my Diksha Guru speaks in this way, my Diksha Guru shows affection in this way. I see these behaviors of my, but then that's not the criterion, no, for pure devotional service. Pure devotional service criterion you will study in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sharnagati to Krishna. Now, who is how much surrendered that you will not know, Krishna will know. Right? Okay.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
All right. See you in the exam today, tomorrow, day after. I hope you know about the exam. If you don't, then please wake up. Don't sleep anymore. You know, it's long time, right? 3 months now. So you can't sleep for so long. Wake up. We have exams today, tomorrow, day after. There are slots. So please join in the slot you selected. Thank you, Hare Krishna.